On our sixth day in Ireland, we had spent the day out on the Dingle Peninsula. It was a beautiful day, and the way we got there was, now we were staying in Killarney, so we left Killarney, headed west, went through Killorgan and Milltown and Castlemaine, and then we took this beautiful coast road and we stopped at Inch Beach, and then we continued on to the town of Dingle. We got out of the car and explored Dingle for a while, and then we continued on to the very tip past Ventry and onto the cross at Slee Head, which is where we had that piece of rhubarb pie at that little cafe on the cliff's edge, and it was gorgeous. Then we started heading back. We took a loop and ended up back at Dingle, and then we continued to go back toward Killarney. Now, as we were driving along the road, I was driving, and Alan was falling asleep. And right about here, Alan fell asleep and then was snoozing in the car. And I think I meant to go this way, but it's a shorter route back to Killarney, but I think my GPS rerouted or something, and I knew I was going in the general direction, but I was on the better road. So I was following along N86, driving along, enjoying the view, and about here, Alan woke up and said, "What are we doing in Tralee? We're way off course." And I said, "I don't know." So we looked at the map and we figured out that I had taken a wrong turn. And then that was fine though. We weren't that far off. And we went ahead and took N22 right straight down to Killarney. So by the time we got back to our hotel, it was kind of late. So I called around some pubs in Killarney trying to find one that was still serving dinner at that hour, and that's how I found Danny Man Pub. As we approached the pub, we could hear music and laughter, and that's where we had dinner on our last night in Killarney. And I told the landlady her husband was lovely. She asked me for print and answered me nay. Said it costed like you I could have any day, and it's no never, no never, no more will I pay the wild rover, no never. On the seventh day, after an amazing, hauntingly wonderful breakfast from the buffet at the Brain, we checked out at the wonderful Brain Hotel and headed south. We stopped at Blarney just before Cork, and we decided to check out the Blarney Castle, and I'm so glad we did. Climbing up to the top of Blarney Castle, now that was a bit of a climb, but coming down again, now that was a little scary. Oh, I'm at the top, finally. I made it to the top of the castle. Wow, what a view. Holy cow, we're high. Well, I'm high. Helen couldn't come up here. I'm above the trees, I can tell you that. Well, this is the only way out from the Blarney Castle. A very steep, winding stair down. Here I go. Made it another floor. And now it continues. This is probably the scariest thing I've done since I got to Ireland. That and trying to push Alan in a wheelchair up a hill. Okay.
another flight. I hope this is the bottom. Nope, not yet. I heard they have a lot of, what was that? A lot of parties here. I think a bat just flew by me. Hey, I made it to the bottom. Yes, I made it.
Blarney Castle was so fun. So after we left there, we were heading toward Kilkenny, and we drove through Waterford. But Ellen was asleep, so I just kept driving. It was a beautiful day, and we got to O'Malley's in Kilkenny at about 7 o'clock. It was a great location, right next to the Kilkenny Castle, just a couple blocks away. And our room was a really nice surprise. It was a ground floor, and the only thing was the bathroom sink was so low that it was a little difficult for Alan to bend over to reach it. Of course, the first thing on our list was to find a place for dinner, so I just started walking because we were so close to downtown. And I called Alan to tell him I found a place that's only about a block away. And then he came over there. And there was live music, and it was called Paris, Texas. And it was a really fun evening. So this guy walks into the pub, and he tells everybody it's his birthday, and he's celebrating. And a couple of times he got up and did this little dance to the music. It was like an Irish clog dance, and it was so cute. But I was never fast enough with my camera to capture his dance. All I got of it was this 1-second clip. Here it is again. Later that evening when we were at another pub, he showed up there, and he also walked in and did this little dance. And again, I did not get it on camera, but it was memorable.
O'er the pleasant sleigh, our brave young heroes stood back to back. When the oars and took Father Murphy, they burned his body upon the rack. God grant you glory, great Father Murphy, and open to all your men. They call tomorrow, and time you learn the kindest job, and learn the kindest pay. Come on and party, it's almost light. Time you run to the other side. The morning mist, it's on the body, it's time you run your way. Time you learn the miner's job, and learn the miner's pay.
That restaurant was also a smokehouse. So that night I had their specialty dish, smoked lamb, and I didn't like it. But I liked the potatoes and the salad. As we were walking back to our B&B, we heard music coming out of the Field pub, And so we went in and got the best seats right in the front, like the last two seats in the place. The place filled up fast as the music started. And oh, we just loved this band. They were called Rusty Springs.
When we reach Australia, I'll go and look for gold. We'll be there for dinner, or so I have been told. And if I get an ocean, I'll go back to the sea. I'll take out Pat with his shin and he's back to the shores of Botany Bay. Where we'll tear it so hard, where we'll tear dirty days. Thank you. There are swings on the hills of Donegal. They might close it all like close blackjack and Rowan. With Blarney, Bridget Nielsen, Mike Tyson, having a bet. Get his shoulder bending over by smoking millionaires. And Donald Trump would like a choke to live in solitaire. They might curry through the water and up Donegal. North and south, keep them out by God, out the town. The Sears chicken ranches, I legalize them all. We'd hang around our slings on the hills of Donegal. There are slings on the hills of Donegal. To stand on top. Very much, thank you.
Thank you. It's a real old Irish-American bluegrass tune. It was brought to America by the Irish along with themselves many, many years ago. The first one I know that recorded it was Pete Seeger's. Bruce Springsteen robbed it off of him, and we kind of robbed it off of him. It's about a man called Dan Tucker. Old Dan Tucker was a fine old man, washed his face in a frying pan, combed his hair with a wagon wheel, died with a toothache in his ear. Get out of the way, old Dan Tucker, it's too late to get your supper. Get out of the way, old Dan Tucker, it's too late to get your supper. Old Dan Tucker, come to town, leading the ladies around and round. One to the right, one to the left, one to the gal that he loves best. Get out of the way, old Dan Tucker, it's too late to get your supper. Get out of the way, old Dan Tucker, it's too late to get your supper. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next next morning we went down to the dining room at the time when there was supposed to be breakfast, but nobody was there. And we waited, and we could hear people in the kitchen, but nobody came out. So finally I called because nobody was at the front desk either. And the owner answered, and I told her, we're sitting down here in the dining room, and nobody's come out yet. And she said, oh my gosh, the girls are probably just losing track of time. And so they came out and gave us a wonderful full Irish breakfast in pancakes. And then Kilkenny Castle. After we toured Kilkenny Castle, Alan took off in the car for a while to explore the area north of Kilkenny, and I stayed in town and walked around Kilkenny for hours exploring the medieval mile. That evening we wanted to eat at Kittler's because we had heard good things about it. But when we got there, they had just stopped serving dinner, so we went across the street to Marble City Bar. We sat at the bar and had really good service and a very lovely dinner. And then we went back across the street to Kittler's, and what luck! Again, we got one of the best seats in the pub, right in front of the band. So we enjoyed some very pleasant music that evening in a pub full of happy, friendly people.
Take your time, take your love. Think of everything you've got, for you will still be here tomorrow, which your dreams may know. How can I try to explain when I do it turns away again? It's always been the same old story. From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen. Now there's a way, and I know that I go. Have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know. Have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? It's the days before. Makes me nervous. I'm a policeman and was made. Yeah, which one best? Down in that dangerous.
Next morning at O'Malley's B&B after that's right, full Irish breakfast, we packed up, checked out of the B&B, and headed east. Our first stop was Thomastown. Thomastown was such a quaint little village, and we stopped and checked it out for a while. And we thought it was pretty sweet, and we left. And as we were driving away, that's when we saw an unusual looking castle in the field, and we pulled over and read about it. And it's Grennan's Castle from the year 1210, a Norman castle. These Normans were really something. They were these destructive, barbarian Viking Norsemen who kept attacking and plundering all over Europe. So the French king, Charles the Simple, gives the Normans this big chunk of France, Normandy, for their own, so they can live there, and just as a truce so they would stop attacking and plundering. But they didn't stop. They invaded Ireland, building castles everywhere they went. And one of the most famous of these Normans was Strongbow, and this Grumman Castle was built by Strongbow's son-in-law. And this little piece of history was still standing there, and we were able to look at it. And I think that's just amazing. A little further ways up the road, we came upon a place called Woodstock Gardens. Oh, what a beautiful place. And a man came along in a golf cart and gave us a personal tour of the gardens. And what a treat that was.
English had it occupied, no?
Yeah, this side.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
English back in times had it occupied, no?
Yeah.
When they got vacant, they burned it down, no? These are called supplemental gardens here. They should be planted with little evergreen trees and shrubs like that.
Okay.
It's not done yet.
Okay.
Look at this avenue here. Look at that. Oh, wow. These are noble firs.
Really?
Yeah? Noble fir avenue.
Wow. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got a lot. We have a lot of noble fruit.
Yeah.
But mostly they do them for Christmas trees.
Oh, yeah, to be smaller.
Yeah, they're very nice.
They're there since 1870.
Wow.
We lost it all in the storm. We have to replant it again. Cherries. So you stayed in Kilkenny last night, did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And O'Malley's bed and breakfast.
And?
O'Malley's bed and breakfast. We ate at, is it Kistler's?
Oh, Kittlers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when we had dinner. We went in there and had
We had
pints-
drinks last night.
Some
Yeah.
pints of Guinness.
Oh, last night.
Yeah, and we ate at, what was it called, Elaine?
The other drink you had?
No, the other place we ate dinner.
After our wonderful day at the coast, we were pretty tired, so we just started driving back to Kilkenny. And the only real stop we made was at a filling station where we got a snack. We got a cup of tea for the road, and I got a package of 4 jam donuts. And those were the best jam donuts I've ever had in my life. I'm still thinking about those jam donuts. So we each had one on the road, and then I saved 2 of them for our breakfast because the place we were staying at that night was a pub. We had a room above a pub at O'Gorman's in Kilkenny, and it didn't come with a breakfast, but it did come with a kitchen, and it was a delightful surprise. I really didn't know what to expect exactly.
There are 5 rooms in this pub. And tonight we're going to go down and join the company.
And we were so tired that night that we were going to go down to the pub and enjoy the atmosphere, but we both just lay down on our beds and fell asleep. Next day, we woke up at the pub and checked ourselves out by dropping our key in the designated box by the door, and then we went out in the streets of Kilkenny looking for food because we didn't have dinner the night before, and all we had was donuts. So we found a place, but it wasn't serving breakfast, but it was a little bit unusual. But the guy was pretty interesting. The name of the restaurant was Blah 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 Coffee and Sandwiches. And it was a good name because the sandwich was rather blah. The rhubarb yogurt, that was delicious. After a blah 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 breakfast, we left Kilkenny and headed north. As we were driving, we came upon a lot of bicyclers, and it became apparent to us that there was a big race going on that day, and it was kind of fun watching the bicyclists, but it made slow going along that road for a while. Eventually we made our way up to a town called Leopardstown, which originally was Leopardstown because that's where they put the lepers in the medieval times. But today, Leopardstown is a suburb of Dublin, and the second most important race course in Ireland is in this town. And this day they were having a family day, so all kinds of entertainment at the racetrack that day. And I placed one bet on a horse called Holy Cat, and it lost. It didn't even place. So that was the only bet I placed. But it was really fun watching the races.
Go on, Kevin. Go on, you boy. Go on, Kevin. Go on, you boy.
Second to last, and then she's right there, better than a bear.
Push him! Come on! Push him! Push him! Push him!
You could feel the ground rumble like thunder when the horses ran by. Horse racing is a big deal in Ireland, so I'm really glad that we got to work that into our last full day there. After the races, we drove east to see the ocean one more time and found a beautiful park off Collymore Road in Dalkey. That evening we checked into the hotel, the Carlton by Dublin Airport. We had dinner at the hotel restaurant, and then we went back to our rooms and packed our bags and our souvenirs. Next morning we boarded the plane. This time it was America Airlines. Not quite as good as British Airlines, but we had plenty of legroom, so we were happy with our seats. And then we left Ireland, feeling that our visit was too short, but now we had wonderful memories that we could keep for the rest of our lives.